Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 12. I am Uyanieka and coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiako, and let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari says 2023 census will tackle insecurity and poverty. Nigerian government vows not to interfere in Ekweremadu's organ harvesting case in the UK. Plus, UN alarmed as Ukraine nuclear power plants shelled again. We'll bring you details of the stories and more in a moment. First in our news today is a report that President Muhammadu Buhari has said the planned 2023 population and housing census would give better structure to the government's fight against poverty and insecurity. The president said this in a statement signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, during his keynote address at the National Stakeholders Summit on the 2023 census, held at the State House Conference Center, Abuja. Buhari, who acknowledged that Nigeria is projected to be the third most populous country in the world, can rank third largest country in terms of population by 2050, after China and India, said reliable, credible, acceptable and successful census will enable government to plan for development, especially in bolstering the social security program that targets more vulnerable Nigerians. The president said the deployment of digital technology in the 2023 national population and housing census will ensure effectiveness and more accuracy in the figures that will come out of the exercise. The president therefore called for support of stakeholders, which include state governments, local government councils, traditional and religious institutions, civil society organizations, private sectors, media, development partners, donor agencies and the general populace for the successful conduct of the 2023 census. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has promised that the military will not stop or reduce its efforts to rescue the remaining 31 abductees of the March 28th train attack through non-combative means. Buhari emphasized that his primary concern is to get everyone released safe and unhurt. According to a statement by his senior special assistant media and publicity, Garba Shehu, the president said this when he met with representatives of families of the abducted persons in Abuja. The president assured the representatives that the federal government is doing everything within its powers to ensure the safe return of the remaining captives. He, however, explained that the government will not employ lethal force in freeing the remaining hostages. Away from that, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami has insisted that the Nigerian government will not interfere in the legal battle involving a former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, who is facing trial in the United Kingdom for alleged organ harvesting. Malami, who disclosed this while speaking to journalists at the 46th session of the State House briefing at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja, said it has never been the tradition of the Nigerian government to interfere in anything judicial, local or international, and that stands the position of the government. Recall that Ekweremadu and his wife were charged by the UK Metropolitan Police with conspiracy to facilitate the travel of another person for organ harvesting. The prosecutors claimed the couple were planning to have his kidney removed so it could be given to their ailing daughter. In the meantime, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami has said that state governors have no basis for complaining about Paris Club refund deductions paid to consultants they hired. Malami, who made the comment at a ministerial media briefing at that State House in Abuja, explained that the governors took steps to pay the consultants and later decided to stop payment while asking for an out-of-court settlement when the matter was dragged to court. This, according to him, resulted in a request to President Muhammadu Buhari to make the payment, which was then passed on to the office of the AGF for a legal opinion. The minister also disclosed that the ministry has secured over 1,000 convictions in terrorism and recovered over £6 million of stolen monies from various jurisdictions globally from March 2021 to May of 2022. According to him, the recovered foreign loot have since been deployed towards the execution of major infrastructure projects and used to massively reduce poverty across the country.
The liability or judgment debt relating to Paris Club was indeed a liability created by the Governors Forum in their own right. How do I mean? The Governors Forum, comprising of all the governors, sat down, commonly agreed on the engagement of consultants to provide certain services for them relating to the recovery of the Paris Club. President Muhammadu Buhari was requested, created by the Governors Forum in their own right. How do I mean? The Governors Forum, comprising of all the governors, sat down.
Away from that, Governor Nasir El-Rufai has told President Muhammadu Buhari that terrorists have infiltrated and dominated communities and creating a parallel government in Kaduna State. In a July memo to the president, he stated that terrorists now exercise control over social and economic activities and even dispense justice in their areas of control. According to the governor, the terrorists have advanced in their plans to make Kaduna forest areas their permanent operational base for the Northwest region, citing a series of intelligence reports. In order to overcome security challenges in the country, the Nigerian Army has trained 106 cadet officers of the 69 regular corps of the Nigerian Defense Academy (NDA) on mechanized operations in Bauchi State. Speaking during the closing ceremony of the training exercise at Victor Kure Armored Ranch, Major General Ibrahim Yusuf said that the Commandant Nigerian Defense Academy (NDA) was to tackle the insecurity challenges facing the country. According to him, the week-long training was to expose them to various mechanized operations in tackling security challenges. The commandant also stated that the exercise was a joint operation and collaboration between the Armored Corps, the Corps of Artillery, as well as the Special Operations Command of the Nigerian Air Force. Reports say the cadets will be graduating from the academy in October 2022, adding that there were 7 female officers amongst them.
The need for enhanced and qualitative training in the Nigerian Army is more needed now than ever. This is as a result of the security challenges bedeviling our dear nation. It is therefore in this line with the Chief of Army Staff vision, which is to have a professional Nigerian Army ready to accomplish a mission within a joint environment in defense of Nigeria.
I want to assure you that the brigade is well prepared to host the event, and the days you remain in the brigade, it will be a worthwhile for you.
In politics, Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State has sued the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Atiku Abubakar, the Secretary of State Governor Aminu Tambuwal, and the PDP over the conduct of the presidential primary of the party that was held in Abuja on the 28th and 29th of May 2022. Recall that during the PDP presidential primaries, when aspirants were asked to address delegates, Tambuwal had asked them to vote for him only to return moments later to ask them to vote for Atiku. Therefore, Wike has asked the court to determine 8 issues, including whether the purported transfer of Tambuwal's votes to Atiku by the PDP was illegal and void. The plaintiff is also seeking a declaration that the PDP acted negligently and in bad faith by assigning the Sokoto governor's votes to Atiku at the primary. Wike asked the court to order INEC to reject or remove Atiku from its list of candidates in the 2023 presidential election. They are also seeking an order commanding the PDP to recount the votes of the primary that was held on the 28th and 29th of May. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has foreclosed the removal of its national chairman, Dr. Iyorochia Ayu, as a condition for peace and reconciliation in the party. River State Governor Nyesom Wike and the former Deputy National Chairman, South, Chief Olabode George, are among those calling for Ayu's removal to balance the North-South power equation in the opposition party. They have premised their demand on the fact that the PDP cannot have Ayu, who is from the North, and the party's presidential candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who is also from the North, in the same election cycle. But the National Publicity Secretary, Debo Olugunaba, said removing Ayu from office would ignite a constitutional crisis in the party, adding that PDP cannot take the risk. The party's constitution stipulates that when the tenure of a sitting national chairman is abridged for whatever reasons, his seat is taken by the deputy national chairman from the same region the outside chairman comes from. Ologunagba, who spoke with reporters in Abuja, explained that going by the constitution, should Ayu be removed from office, he will be replaced by the deputy national chairman, North Umar Damagum, who is from Yobe State. Still in politics, presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023 elections, Peter Obi, has said Nigeria must end petrol subsidy. He noted that going forward, Nigeria must look for ways to move beyond oil to end oil subsidy. He lamented the staggering level of corruption in the country, emphasizing that universities have remained closed for over 5 months, while the healthcare system remains comatose. Power generation and distribution are also at an all-time low. Obi said he plans to create jobs and reduce insecurity and poverty if elected.
Let me use just 200 trillion naira. 200 trillion naira, because some were borrowed when money was 100, 150, 190, 200. So since it's about 600 now, I use an average of 400.
Away from that, the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has announced that advertisements and promotions by telecom companies would henceforth attract payments of fees. The NCC's Executive Commissioner Stakeholders Management, Adeleke Adewolu, stated this at the end of a 3-day public inquiry on draft of telecom regulations and guidelines in Abuja. Adewolu said the new fees for advertisement and promotions are to meet current realities, and however, the operators have kicked against the move, which they say represented a multiple tax on the industry. Back here, Governor Dom Emmanuel has laid the foundation for the commencement of the construction of an ultra-modern general hospital in Ibionibom local government area shortly before turning the SOD for the project. Governor Emmanuel said the commencement of the General Hospital project was in fulfillment of the pledge he made to Ibionibom people during the 38th Triennial Convention of the Ibionibom Welfare and Development Union that his administration will site a general hospital in the area within the shortest possible time. The governor, who was represented at the event by the State Commissioner for Health, Professor Augustine Umoh, said the hospital, which will be fully equipped, will be completed within the lifespan of the present administration. He thanked the people of Ibionibom for their continued support and goodwill for his administration, pledging that under his administration, Ibionibom local government area will continue to enjoy an enviable status as location to strategic projects like the state-of-the-art Dakada Skills Acquisition Center, which is to be inaugurated in a few months' time. Earlier, indigenes of Ibonibom across diverse segments of the population in their goodwill messages were full of appreciation to the Governor Udom Emmanuel-led administration for making good his promise to commence the General Hospital project, pledging that the appreciation of Ibonibom people will be demonstrated to the Governor by supporting his completion agenda project. We move now to Africa, where Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has announced that the second turbine at its controversial mega dam on the Blue Nile is already generating electricity. The announcement came despite continuing objections by Egypt and Sudan over the project. Reports say Cairo and Khartoum fear the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam GERD could threaten their access to vital Nile waters and demand a written agreement on the dam's filling and operation. Foreign Affairs spokesperson Melis Alem said there have been reports that floods have occurred in cities in Egypt and Sudan. This shows that the construction of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam will not harm the people of Egypt and Sudan. He emphasized that as the construction goes on, so will the filling of the dam. The Foreign Affairs Ministry spokesperson also confirmed that the military are actively engaged chasing Al-Shabaab to the border with Somalia in order to secure the area. The GERD is ultimately expected to produce more than 5,000 megawatts, which will double Ethiopia's current output. Still in Africa, Kenya's Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, had not yet declared the official results of the presidential race. However, winners of other elective seats were being announced. The Orange Democratic Movement candidate Peter Ochieng was elected new Kibra MP. Reports say the winner received the certificate proving his success. For this Raila Odinga ally going to the collection and tallying centers to know the results firsthand was essential, especially at the Bomas of Kenya, the National Tallying Center. Interest in the presidential race winner has sharpened in the East African country days after the general elections. 4 candidates vying for the presidency, but 2 are top contenders: Deputy President William Ruto and veteran politician Raila Odinga. Official election results must be announced within a week of the vote. On the foreign scene, Attorney General Merrick Garland has said that the Justice Department had filed in court a request that the search warrant and property received from the searched former President Donald Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago be unsealed. In his first public statement since federal agents raided the accommodation earlier this week, Garland also said he personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. He noted that the department did not comment on the search on the day that it occurred, but pointed out that copies of the warrant and the warrant receipts were provided to the Trump lawyers who were on site during the search.
Good afternoon. Since I became Attorney General, I have made clear that the Department of Justice will speak through its court filings and its work. Just now, the Justice Department has filed a motion in the Southern District of Florida to unseal a search warrant and property receipt relating to a court-approved search that the FBI conducted earlier this week. That search was of premises located in Florida belonging to the former president. The department did not make any public statements on the day of the search. The former president publicly confirmed the search that evening, as is his right. Copies of both the warrant and the FBI property receipt were provided on the day of the search to the former president's counsel, who was on site during the search. The search warrant was authorized by a federal court upon the required finding of probable cause.
More shelling of Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant has been reported, with Ukraine and Russia again blaming each other for the attack. At a meeting of the United Nations Security Council called to discuss the situation, the head of its nuclear watchdog, Rafael Grossi, warned that it was a grave hour while UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres also said it could lead to disaster. Earlier, the U.S. also called for a demilitarized zone to be established around the plant. However, Russia's UN representative said demilitarization was not an option, suggesting that it would make the plant more vulnerable to provocations and terror attacks. Still to come in the news.
What do you expect?
Falconets beat France in Under-20 Women's World Cup. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. Now to the rest of our news. In our business news, data from the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries showed that Nigeria's crude oil production plunged by 2.3 million barrels in July 2022 when compared to what the country produced in the preceding month of June. In its latest monthly oil market report for August 2022, OPEC stated that crude oil production figures based on direct communication indicated that Nigeria's output dropped by an average of 74,000 barrels per day in July by losing 2.3 million barrels in July this year. It means Nigeria's oil earnings fell by about 101.13 billion naira in the month under review. The federal government operators and experts have consistently fingered crude oil theft in the Niger Delta as the major reason for Nigeria's poor output and its continued failure to meet the monthly oil production quota approved by OPEC. Still in business, Seplat Energy says it had not received any official notification from the federal government reversing its proposed acquisition of the entire share capital of Mobil Producing Nigeria Limited. The oil firm stated this in a statement issued by its chief financial officer Emeka Onwuka that Seplat Energy has become aware of news reports claiming that ministerial approval of the company's proposed acquisition of the entire share capital of Mobil Producing Nigeria Limited has been withdrawn. It added Seplat Energy has received no official notification of such a decision and is seeking clarification from the relevant authorities. Recall that President Buhari had on Wednesday reversed his authorization of the acquisition of the entire share capital of the Mobil Producing Nigeria Limited by Seplat Energy Offshore Limited. The move puts the presidency on the side of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, which had earlier declined the $1.3 billion transaction. In health, Akwa Ibom is driving Nigeria's latest COVID-19 surge as the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) confirms 517 additional infections between August 6th and August 11, 2022. The NCDC, which made this known via its official website, said that out of the 517 additional infections recorded, Akwa Ibom reported 293 cases, while Lagos State recorded 101. The NCDC said that the 517 cases which were recorded in 13 states and the Federal Capital Territory has raised the total number of infections to 262,402. The agency, however, said that 525 persons had been discharged in the last 5 days after recovering from the virus, thus bringing the total number of discharged persons to over 256,000, adding that the death toll from the COVID-19 disease in the country stayed at 3,147, with no additional deaths reported. Still in health, the United States Food and Drug Administration (FDA) has issued an emergency use authorization for Genius vaccine to increase the existing monkeypox vaccine supply. The regulatory agency disclosed this in a statement made available on its official website. The FDA said the approved vaccine will enable healthcare providers to use the intradermal injection and will increase the total number of doses available for use by up to 5-fold. It stated that the emergency use authorization allows for use of vaccine in people who are 18 years and older and in people seen to be at high risk of monkeypox infection. Genius vaccine was approved in 2019 for the prevention of smallpox and monkeypox disease in individuals 18 years of age and older, determined to be at high risk for smallpox and monkeypox infection. In sports, an ace defender of the Super Falcons, Glory Ogbonna, has signed a 1-year contract with the Turkish Women League champions, Al-Kibor Kilibo. Ogbonna, who disclosed this in a telephone interview with newsmen, said that the contract signed would see her play the women's version of the Champions League with the club this season. The former Edo Queens player said that the desire to play in the Champions League was what motivated her to sign for the Turkish champions. Still in sports, Nigeria's Falconets beat France 1-0 in Group D's opening match at the ongoing 2022 Under-20 Women's World Cup in Costa Rica. The only goal was scored late into the second half of the match by Falconets Flourish Sebastian. The Falconets had to scale the hurdles presented by Central African Republic, Congo, Cameroon and Senegal, winning 6 of the 7 matches to be eligible to fly Africa's flag once more in Central America. Reports say Nigeria will play France, Canada and Korea in Group C of the 16-nation, which begins on the 10th of August, while Africa's other representatives, Ghana, are up against holders Japan, the Netherlands and 3-time champions United States in Group D.
In the 80th minute.
In entertainment, the first ever documentary on the television reality show Big Brother Naija is set to premiere Saturday, August 13, 2022. Femi Falodun, Chief Executive Officer of African Media Consultants to the reality TV show, who disclosed this in a statement, said that the mini-documentary titled BB Naija, The Fame, The Fans, The Frenzy will be produced by ID Africa's The Bang Studio. He noted that BB Naija, The Fame, The Fans, The Frenzy will take viewers behind the scenes of the biggest reality TV show in Africa and reveal some truths about the show's production. According to him, it features some of the show's most popular housemates, including Mesieke, Legon, Nengi, Prince, Alex Osogwa, Bisola Ayola, Elozonam, and Ozo. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You've been watching Spectrum News at 12. I am Uyaya Nieken. Thanks for watching and do enjoy the rest of your day.